Hey, it's Jen, Bitch in a Hurry, Not So Mystical Tarot, coming to you with your 2019 projection for Sun, Moon, or Rising sign of Scorpio. You can find me on Instagram at Bitch in a Hurry or at bitchinahurry.com, where currently I have a sale running through the end of the year for 25% additionally off of all of my readings. I would like to thank everyone that has participated so far, and those that have gotten your readings, you've been really happy with them, and that makes me really happy. So thank you for that. I will say check your moon and rising signs as well to give you more of a picture of what 2019 will look like for you. And of course, if you really want some detail, you can order a personalized 2019 projection reading where I go actually month by month. I can't do that here because this reading is general and it's too much to put into one general reading. But for a personal reading, I can go month by month and give you a lot more detail. All right, let's get started. So Scorpio, we start out the first quarter of the year with the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups is a little bit of emotional overwhelm. It seems like at the end of 2018, maybe you had a lot of input coming in. And I often call this card like radio static. And anybody who's old enough will remember when you actually tuned a radio in. But you can see here, like, she's looking up and pointing over here. He's got a map and he's looking down. There's cups all over the place. It's a very disorganized feeling, very emotionally unsettling. It's like I said, when you would try to tune a radio station in and you would get like part of one station and part of another and then like static in between and you couldn't understand either one. This is kind of the first 3 months of the year sort of feel like this. Like you might have some certain goals and ambitions and things you want to do and you feel a little overwhelmed. Like, I don't quite know what to do next. You have a lot of different emotions kind of swirling around. But that's okay. Take the time, look at it more as an opportunity to see what can be useful to you versus I just can't handle all this emotional input. You look at it really as an opportunity. What can I see in this that is useful to me? Try to look at it that way versus I'm so overwhelmed I could scream. Now, we head into the second quarter of the year and you have the Lovers card, and that's wonderful because this, I always say, this isn't necessarily a romantic partnership. It can be. So there can be a strong focus on your romantic partner this year. But if you look, like, they're very yin and yang, right? And they complete each other. So what I want you to focus on here, and it seems like this is kind of an emotional time, whatever you're working on is emotionally very important to you. It isn't, and I feel like it has something to do, there's a lot of emotion happening here, a lot of cups, but it's also, it has to do with something that you're working on in your personal life. And it almost is like with these lovers that whatever you're working on makes you feel whole. Like the completion of this or the attainment of this makes you feel like a whole and complete person. Like something is missing when you're not doing this thing or allowing this thing in your life. So the second quarter is all about allowing that thing in your life that makes you feel whole. And it also, of course, is about working on the relationships and people that are super close to you. But like I said, there's a lot of cups in this reading, and you're going to see that as you go on, and you being a water sign, that's important as well, to focus on your emotional well-being. I think there's a major theme here to focus on our emotional well-being this year to progress through the year. The third quarter, you have the Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Cups is an openness, an emotional idea, a willingness to be open to something, a vulnerability. So in the third quarter of the year, it looks like for you to move on or for you to glean what you want from this year, you're going to need to be emotionally available and open because there are opportunities coming to you. But if you are emotionally not open and you're not willing to be vulnerable, you will miss out on these opportunities. The nice thing is I don't think that's going to happen. I think that you're going to be fully present in the year, and I say that because you have the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is such a beautiful card because he is he's the kind of person that like shows up in your life and doesn't take no for an answer. Like, we're gonna go and do this, come on. And when you're like, well, I don't know, I don't want to get hurt, this seems a little scary, I don't know if I want to involve myself, he's like, we're gonna go, let's do this thing. And you may have some encouragement from someone in your life that kind of pulls you along and says, hey, come on, let's, and when you're like, well, I'm not really sure. I mean, you have this opportunity to be vulnerable and be open. That is here for a reason. And you've got the whole few months to prepare, because when this opportunity comes with this Knight of Wands, you're not going to want to say no. This is something really important. This is a time when you look back over the year and you see opportunity, and it's saying, now is the time to grab this opportunity. Don't let it pass you by, because the Knight would never let a good opportunity pass him by. He is not going to miss out on anything. So I think that's a reminder to look over the year, see where there were opportunities maybe that you have missed, and go and scoop them up while they're still available to you, because this is not something that you're going to want to miss out on. Now, we have the Moon card, and I love this card. This also is a cautionary sort of tale where, you want to be careful how you see things, because sometimes we see things with sort of a veil over them, and they look a lot better than they are. And I want you just to be careful as different opportunities come to you. Like you had this Seven of Cups, a little bit of emotional overwhelm, kind of you don't know what you're doing. This is the same sort of thing. Sometimes things look a certain way and they're not. So as these different opportunities come through the year, especially that third quarter, when you're feeling like maybe you might want to be a little bit vulnerable, maybe you might want to open yourself up to receive some different things or to experience some different things, make sure that you're seeing whatever these opportunities are in a clear way, and then proceed forward. Because I always say, like, if you were out at a candlelight dinner, everything looks a certain way, right? But if they were to flip on all the house lights in the middle of this dinner, you might notice things that you couldn't see by candlelight. So I'm just saying, make sure to shed some light on what these opportunities are, and don't just jump at everything because you're like, I'm doing this thing. Make sure that it's something that is good for you. I'm not saying to close yourself off, but I am saying just to be careful. Just be careful in what you put your emotional well-being, in whose hands you place your emotional well-being in. I think that maybe will sum it up. Now, the other clarifier we have, and this is such good news, is the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is marriage, family, happiness in the home. This is like emotional, an emotional cycle that comes to like a full circle moment. This is very exciting. This says that you will be able to discern the good and the not so good in the things that are coming up for you. And because you're able to be emotionally open and you're willing, to kind of take up with this Knight and sort of experience some things that maybe you would hold yourself back from, this emotional fulfillment does come to you. So this is definitely a year of maybe it's working on yourself. Maybe it's working on what you show the world. Maybe you're willing to be a little more open with how you move through this world, and you're willing to share with other people a little bit more than you had been in the past. Now, of course, we have the Four of Cups, because as a Scorpio, you are not going to be taken advantage of, and you are not going to be you're not going to be fooled, okay? And this Four of Cups, oftentimes people say it's like a boredom or whatever, but I see this, you have these three cups here, and then there's somebody else handing you something, and you're like, no, I don't think so. I think this goes with this in this particular reading. People say, oh, it's boredom, or that you don't care, or you could care less, but you know what I see is this is you having some things in your life that are really wonderful, being offered something else, you seeing through the veil of whatever nonsense it is and going, I'm all set, thank you. So this tells me that you will be able, this is just a reinforcement with this Ten of Cups, that you will be able to determine what is good for you and what is not good for you. And this year will be emotionally, I think, a huge year of growth, Scorpio. I'm so happy for you. Please let me know how this manifests in your life. I look forward to hearing all about it. I'll talk to you soon.